Guys, how are you? We're here from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Yes. La Bolsa de Valores de Nueva York. Hablando con todos ustedes en español. We have to speak in English with our great friend. Steve Allen Lawrence is the Chief Investment Officer of Balfour Capital Group. We need to talk about metals, oils, and the market today. Just so you guys know, is Wednesday, January 14. I think you've been pretty right. Thank you for coming to our FE Macro Leaders at the Bell. I think the first question is, how do you get it so right with the oil?
Listen. What we're seeing right now in the energy markets is it's fragmented right now. We also realize I've been saying that oil really has value here, and I believe that oil at these levels may run to $70. Okay.
You're talking about $70 right now for the oil?
It will run to $70 within the next 6 to 8 months. Downside 58.
Excellent. Listen, we don't want to speculate about the geopolitical risk, but do you attach that to something happening with Iran, or is irrelevant whether it happens something with Iran or not?
It's very relevant. There's no question, all right, that everything is connected. Iran with additional sanctions right now at 25% if anybody buys anything from Iran. Okay, so it's a geopolitical energy war. All right, and as we've seen in Venezuela, it'll take literally years to really get that online. So there isn't that much oil out there. It's all about the refining.
I am from Venezuela, as you know.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, one of the things that we need to make sure happens here is what happened if that oil entered into the market, because you are telling the audience that we might go to $70 per barrel, but you are also factoring and taking into consideration anything that can happen with Venezuela entering into the markets?
I am factoring everything I can. One of the things that we do at Balfour is we monitor not only risk, and the reason why we have, over 350 wealth advisors and operations all over the world is we inculcate in the culture, it's never how much you make, it's always how much you lose. Therefore, you really need to be diversified. There is a tremendous amount going on right now in the commodity markets, unparalleled.
Great. So now changing the topic from the commodity markets, and we were talking backstage about the metals. You see what happened with the silver. I think we were speaking about that at the end of 2025. Now, what are you thinking is going to happen with the gold and the silver in front of a potential decision on the Fed in a few days, and also in front of Davos? Let's talk about Davos and President Trump.
Okay, well, let's stick to two things here. I think the first thing we need to stick to is to see silver go from 70 to 90 and change today is a biblical move. But what you need to understand is a lot of refineries, okay, are really discounting it in the physical market. And that's a big thing. And also in the commodity markets, you're seeing a potential merger between Glencore, okay, and Rio. Okay, you're going to see a lot of consolidation with large commodity companies, without question. A gold will rally here, and the velocity right now on silver, it is that volatile. It's that volatile. It could easily come off 7-8% and run to 100. So positioning yourself, you need to have a long-term objective, and silver long-term, okay, is a very serious component in technology, whether it's a cell phone, a data center. Copper's telling you that. So you're seeing it all over the world right now.
Steve, you manage Balfour Capital Group. You are in constant communication with your advisors. What is the most, important questions that the end clients, the high net worth individual, have on mind in front of Dow Jones, going around the 50,000 mark? What do you think about that, and what do you tell your advisors to tell the end clients?
I'm telling my advisors to say as following. You have to be diversified. And when I mean diversified, there's some great plays right now in pharma. You just saw Moderna take off, and you're going to see rotation. Okay, there's going to be rotation, all right, in the market. Tech, some of the valuations are way up there. I mean, they're just that high. But I will see the Dow, in my opinion, we will touch 50,000. we will touch 50,000. All right. The sentiment is so strong right now. All right. And above and beyond, all right, that Trump intends on making all the big banks, cut credit card rates to 10%. All right. And that would be something that would really help out the consumer.
Listen, Steve, now summarizing everything, when we were in our latest interview in 2025, we were speaking about a pullback in the market. It was a little pullback, but now if we hear you clearly, you are bullish. Now, do you think that the worst was behind us, or do you think we might have another viable opportunity within the next few weeks? Let's put it that way.
I'm always looking for value. There will be a pullback, and when there are pullbacks, you need to be very strategic. All right. You saw some of the earnings come out with banks, and they were spectacular. Okay. And the stocks went down. All right. The moral to the story is you can never own too much of anything. And now we're seeing the alternatives like crypto. All right. We could see 100,000 and possibly break it. All right. We're at a very serious inflection point in the market. I think the next 180 days are going to be that critical, all right, for the global economies, the next 180 days.
Listen, thank you very much for coming to the floor. Thank you for being with us all the way. We're going to bring you back within the next few weeks, and hopefully the market is coming down. Just so you guys know, today around 1% on the S&P is around noon this time on Wednesday, January 14. And thank you again for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.